It's Lauren and Aaron.
Morning. We are fully caffeinated. We had a lot of wine yesterday. We were in Sonora, Arizona.
You said it
Beautiful
correctly.
wine country. Thank you. That's the first time I pronounced that right in a day. It's a tricky little Spanish word. I don't have much of a Spanish tongue. We are behind the curtains. We're a new podcast, and we're talking about a really juicy topic right off the bat. We're down here in wine country, and a lot of people do their wedding venues down here. There's some beautiful venues down here.
It's beautiful scenery.
So you can't get married without an engagement ring. We've been dating for a year and 4 months, 5
Like
months,
that.
help me out here.
I'm doing the math.
Long distance, so it's a topic. It's a lot of topic guys kind of shy away from, couples shy away from. It creates a lot of tension. So we just kind of wanted to talk about our opinions. They don't totally match.
They're not right or wrong. It's literally just our opinion, so we hope nobody gets upset with us. But as we were down here yesterday, every winery that we walked into said wedding venue one way and wine tasting room the other way, which made us realize like we are talking about the future, but we don't even know if we're on the same page about engagement rings. So I'm from Scottsdale, which is a bougie part of Arizona. It's kind of like the Beverly Hills. And homeboy here is from, sorry, there's a lot of flies.
I'm from Wisconsin.
He's from a small town in Wisconsin. So we think that we have completely different views on engagement rings.
But we don't.
So we're going to break it all down for you. So, first question is, does it even...
It's all about size, guys.
Size matters. No, I mean, listen, at the end of the day...
These flies are getting kind of bad.
The flies are bad. We all know that when a man buys an engagement ring, it is a direct reflection of how much money he makes, possibly how big his ego is, how much he wants to show off.
How big his dick is.
How big his dick is. Exactly. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And sometimes I don't even think that it's like 100% about the money. I think every girl secretly has a ring that she wants, that she's interested in. Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
That's my right.
And I don't always think that it has to do with the amount of money spent, but it has to do with
Totally
the
does.
size. Oh, you do think?
Totally. So I think, guys, you got to know your audience. So it's not just about the girl. It should be, but it's not. Because everybody in the world is going to see that ring. The first thing is going to be the pose where you can't see the fucker on Instagram. That's like...
Number one, out the
You don't get
gate.
engaged unless that happens. I think know your audience. You know, what is she expecting? She's expecting a big one. It's going to take a little time, a little longer to get engaged. You know, you might have to save it up for that. Maybe you have the money and you're just ready to pull the trigger.
I think I don't know, man. I think that you have to go ring shopping and you have to figure out what size works, right? So like, I know that a 1 carat is not going to cut it. I also know that a 3 carat is going to be way too big for my hand because I've actually tried it on. 2 carat looks good. Would 2.5 be better? Obviously, but 1.5 isn't even on the scale.
See how much time they put into this, guys?
Oh, we have a whole Pinterest board and everything. So, I don't
You
know.
can just pick it out together, you know.
I do think in like my heart of hearts that the man should enjoy what he's purchasing, because even though it is what the girl wants, it's still his hard-earned money. And I know that's probably not what every girl thinks, because most girls just want what they want and they don't even care. But I do feel like if the role was reversed, I wouldn't want to go spend tens of thousands of dollars on this thing that I have to not only look at, but pay for, and I don't like it. Does that even cross your mind?
No, it has. You know, that's, I think, the biggest fear that guys have is getting something they're not going to like. When, let's face it, it shouldn't be about the ring at that point. You know, if you love each other, you should be able to, you shouldn't even have to really give her a ring. But Western civilization, here we go.
You should be giving rings. Giving a ring.
How about what does the guy get in return? We talked about that.
We have talked about
I'm in
that.
the market for a good watch.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I've more or less said.
My eye watch or whatever you call those.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have said that I would be happy to purchase a nice watch in return so that he's spending a good chunk on me and I'm spending a good chunk on him, and it's kind of like an equal thing. I don't think that's traditional or customary. I don't think a lot of people do that. And I don't think a lot of girls, especially the girls I know, would ever agree to that. I think that they want what they want. I've had girlfriends who even say, hey, if my boyfriend gets me a ring I don't like, I'm going to take it back to the jeweler and add my own money to it to make it what I want. And that's why we're talking about this, because I think it's so important to have this open heart and transparent conversation.
I think that would probably hurt the guy's feelings. At least it would probably hurt my feelings.
Ooh, that's a good point. Because
it would be like,
sorry,
thanks,
honey.
but no thanks.
You didn't do a good job. Let me redo this.
Let me just remodel the house right away after you just fucking paid for it,
Okay, but how do you... Okay, since we're on that part, how do I tell somebody, like, a 1 carat's not gonna work? Because that means more money, and that gives the guy anxiety, and it makes him probably feel like he's not good enough, he doesn't make enough money. There's just so much that goes into this. How would you want me to approach and say, I would really...
Well, I think
want something bigger.
I know, and it's the 4 C's that I know nothing about, but, you can get a big, ugly rock, I guess, so...
Yeah, I think it'd be big, but not good quality.
Are you a quality or quantity person? Because I think you can
If you can't have both. If you can't have both, what would you prefer, right?
Yeah, I think that's totally up to the girl.
I think most girls, and I guess I'm speaking for myself, I would rather have a bigger rock that's imperfect than a smaller one that's perfect.
I think I would agree with you on that, because let's face it, size matters,
Size does matter, especially...
Somebody gonna really pull out one of those thingies and be like, oh, I'm actually from Belgium, I'm an ex-diamond dealer. I like the size, but a little cloudy.
Okay, so the other thing that I found when I was looking at rings one day, I went down a rabbit hole and I found an actual reused, what was it called? The reused website. It was like...
I said yes and now no.
I said yes and now I don't, or I said I do and now I don't. I do and now I don't. I think it was genius. And we both were like, oh!
So I went on there the other day. They were a little shopped out though.
You did?
Yeah, I think the guys are onto that. Good for you guys if you are onto that.
But the question is that okay? Are we okay with this?
Secondhand diamonds?
A part of me says yes, because you're not putting your foot in a used shoe.
It's not a couch.
Ew, that's gross.
Like when we sold that couch on Craigslist, it took like 2 months. I sold it, and I didn't get shit for it. Beautiful
but
couch. It's like selling a mattress. It's that.
It's kind of gross. But a ring is hard. It's a diamond. It's hard. It's,
Spray some Windex on it and move on.
Windex? You can't clean a ring with a diamond with Windex. Anyway, a part of me feels, as weird as it is, like it wouldn't, if I didn't know it was from there, I don't think I would care as much. But I don't know if I'd want to, willingly go and pick out something from the secondhand shop. But on the other hand, it's a hard surface. It's not gross. So that's a good one to think about. Can you get more bang for your buck on this website or something similar?
You definitely can.
Please don't go to a pawn shop, by the way. I feel like that's where this is going.
See, I don't see how that's any different. It's an online pawn shop.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And actually, you probably get a better deal at a pawn shop.
Like an
Because those guys negotiate. Not really, but...
They don't?
I mean, not the guys on TV, Pawn Star, All Stars, or whatever they're called. Okay, this guys, you come in, you give them your shitty shit, they give you nothing for it.
And then they jack up the price.
Yeah, fucking beautiful business.
Well, I don't know. What else do we have to talk about with rings? Oh, would you rather have a small one now and upgrade on an anniversary, or would I rather receive a good one a few years down the road to make sure that there's money there? This is just all things that we've been talking about because it's such a touchy subject. I know that when girls are in a relationship, there is some sort of urgency to get married. Like, I'm 36. I don't have that urgency. But, not really. Not like I did when I was 26. And like, oh my God, we have to get married. It means something if we don't. See, airing it all out.
So you're talking about just getting in your foot in the door with a little ring and then upgrading down the road?
Oh, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that.
But I think...
But these are the options.
Yeah.
Correct. So you could either get a ring and then maybe, I've seen people put a halo on it or add diamonds to it or get another band or something that's an addition and it makes the ring bling a little bit more. Or I can say, hey, he can say, I don't have the money right now, like, and if this is what you want, I want to wait, then that means that you're not getting engaged for a year, 2, 3, 4, however many years
Time
it
is
takes.
money.
So that's another thing, and I would rather wait. I don't think I would want to start with a little one and upgrade.
But it's, I mean, if you're itching, you're jonesing, you guys want to get to Vegas.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I would
maybe-
say just put something on it and move on. you
Maybe
know?
that's
If
when you
you're in
go-
love, why does it have to wait? Why does it have to wait until you can save up 50 grand?
And why does it have to be about the ring? That's the other logical side of me, like you said. Why does
Why
it have to be
can't it
about
just
the
be
ring?
a piece of string?
I've used to say that before. If I really loved somebody, I was like, oh, I wouldn't care. I would just wear a piece of ring in showing them that I love them. And now I'm like, I think the Scottsdale side is just a little too much ingrained in me. That's not happening. What about just a band? Like, you also need
What
to have
about
a...
a tongue piercing?
No, we're not doing, that means nothing. But what
Most people.
about a travel ring? You also need a travel wedding ring. Because
Oh
if
my
you...
God, I didn't know you were gonna go to more rings. We're trying to talk about one, it's just talking about fucking like rings that look better on the road.
No, rings that are less attractive on the road, because when you're on the road, you
back
can't walk
up, right.
around with like a 4 carat, you're gonna be a target. So you
Oh my
just
God.
leave the 4 at home and you
don't
bring
use that
something a
one.
little smaller. See, planting seeds, just planting seeds.
So you're gonna be traveling and the probability of getting mugged is high, so you're gonna wear the backup or the knockoff.
Yeah, you could wear a knockoff when you travel.
I might
I'm
get
down
a
with
more
that.
girl on me, actually.
But not for real life. I'm not wearing a knockoff in real life. What do you think?
You just be you, babe.
That
I'm gonna
requires-
get you one nice one, because I know my audience. And my audience is expecting results.
I do. I try not to.
No, and I want to get you a really nice one too. So, and we've talked about it together, so we know the shade. She's given me the size down to the quarter carat, so I can't screw that up. She's being vocal about what she wants, so it's helping me not make a mistake. So I think it gets back to communication. Just talk about it. It's not awkward. Maybe you have a little tiff about it, but hey, you know.
I do agree with what you're saying, because I think that the initial conversation when you're having it, if money's an issue, if money's no issue, I don't think there's any wounds that will be had. But when you are having this conversation and money is, you don't just have an extra whatever
It's
a
always
ring
about the money.
costs.
Yeah.
Totally. I think that makes the man walk away feeling so wounded and so small. But it also is food for thought, I think it tells a lot about somebody, about they have to have a certain ring and they have to have it this size. Like, that's kind of, like, why can't you give and take a little here, people? It's hard-earned money.
I think the traditional saying, at least the one I've heard from the old guys network, is 3 months pay. So I don't know if that's a general rule of thumb that's still going around there, but if you actually do the math on that, it kind of actually makes sense a little bit.
So what, if you make $6,000 a month and you pay $18,000 for a ring?
And you
Is that
could
like
get a pretty good
before
ring for that.
taxes
I don't think
or
you could
after
get
taxes?
the biggest ring ever, but you could get a pretty nice ring for $18K.
But if you have
Especially a
somebody who
knockoff.
wants something bigger and better, like, does that mean it's 6 months?
I mean, if a guy's putting half of your salary towards the ring, I mean, for me, that guy's either really in love or maybe a little stupid. I mean, I'm a financial sense guy, and how would you pay for dinner if you're putting 6 months?
Well, at that point, you have to have a lot of wealth, and like, it's kind of fuck you money at that point.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I just have 50 grand to spend on a ring. I have no idea if that's a lot or not. I'm just throwing out a number that seems quite high. Like, here you go. But you would be in a certain position to spend that. We're talking about people who don't quite have the funds, the man who doesn't quite have the funds, but the girl is like a Barbie, as we call them, in our
Are we talking
relationship.
about us?
No, we're not talking about this. We're trying to make this make sense for people. This doesn't apply to somebody. If you have a lot of money, get whatever you want. That's how that would go.
I know, they probably wouldn't be listening to this
It would be
podcast.
like Sweet Home
private jet
Alabama,
cruising somewhere
when
cool.
he brings her into Tiffany and she can buy whatever she wants. Like, that's every girl's dream. Or maybe not. Depends on who you are. But that would be incredible.
Does that take away from it?
Does that take away from what?
If a girl knows the guy can get whatever she wants, she's expecting like the best. Like, don't the celebrities get like they're in the millions and shit.
Yeah.
Like millions of dollars for a ring.
But, okay, so that's a great point. So then does a celebrity such as A-Rod, I think he got Jennifer Lopez like a 7-carat ring or whatever it was, $2 million, whatever it was. Does he feel the pressure that he has to because he's A-Rod and he does make a lot of money?
So.
Maybe that's like a reverse
I
thing.
wonder if they Google each other's net worth on fucking... they're reading about themselves on Wikipedia. Be like, I didn't know you were from Ohio.
So maybe there is a little bit of reverse here.
This year,
Maybe there's like a reverse thing here. I don't know what it'd be called, reverse wedding shopping, where you're forced to spend so much money because the girl thinks and knows you have so much money. That's actually...
guys, actually.
I just came to the conclusion there really is just pressure all around, whether you have the money or you don't. It kind of is a shitty situation either way. So the question becomes, how do you make it fun? How do you make it something you both agree on?
Yeah, let's bring this back to fun. I think a lot of guys are getting stressed out.
I'm getting stressed out thinking about it.
Not having a beautiful stubby like me and Semiata.
Sonoida. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to having a very transparent and, again, probably difficult conversation, but being open and honest, you know? And quite frankly, if the girl isn't willing to budge, does that mean that maybe she's a little more shallow than you thought? Like, why does the ring mean so much? Like, this means so much. This means so much. This means so much.
This means so much.
So,
I mean, you're talking about a lot of other hard topics. If you're talking about weddings and marriage and kids and bed shopping, you can screw that up too. We already hate our bed. You're already making a lot of big financial decisions together probably at this point, unless you just kind of met each other and it's one of those shotgun weddings. But I don't know, I don't feel like I hear a lot about those at my age. I'm 40. I mean, if a buddy was like, yeah, I just met a chick and we're going to Vegas, I'd be like, okay, but good luck. Man, would I be nervous for him.
yeah.
At any rate, we're talking about normal working stiffs like us.
So, I think we've covered it all.
Talk about it.
What we do want to know is what else everybody wants to talk about, wants to hear about, like what other topics of conversations could potentially be good. We have some really good ideas that we actually don't agree on filming, like farting. I think a farting episode would be absolutely hysterical. And
How you fight or we just fight?
fart.
Oh, farting.
Hey, it happens in every relationship. I think like the first fart would be so funny to talk about. So those are like the taboo topics that we actually want to discuss. Feel free to leave us a comment and tell us what you think would be great to talk about, or maybe something that's going on in your relationship. We can see if we can relate to it. But anyway, that's where we're at with rings. I think we covered it all.
I think we did.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, have a great day.
Take care.
All right, God bless you.